So where were we? Oh yeah, the pancakes. I want my pancakes. Thankfully, the move went smooth as last night. Well, dinner before we blew Mr. entire worldview apart. Bit of an apocalyptic dinner, that. Mrs. Aaron found it amusing. Miss Aaron's like, "What the fuck are you doing, telling my daughter how her food tastes?" And Fang was like, "Yeah, you have no idea how to describe a good meal." Add a few bits of play-by-play, okay? Remember our mom says this was more than happy to critique our described truth. Man, that's right. Ask why she wouldn't describe it or sort of well enough. Just to calibrate your sense of. Damn, dude. Weird. I guess that kind of makes sense. Playing a language for food vicariously. Maybe she could just possess your body. I'm going ghost. Breakfast concluded, ma'am. So last night you said you didn't know why I did it at all. Wow. I just ate my pancakes, man. My little pancakes. Thanks, I fell to the carb for a brief moment to not occur. Actually, there's something I want to do right now. I hope you can forgive me, but I really want to look at chapter 13. I just listen to me. Just listen to me. Shit, I forgot Cloudflare's out. I cannot leave this page. If at any moment we leave this page, the Cloudflare Islands will kill us! We will die! To death! Damn, even the detector side, supposedly. Because everyone runs on Cloudflare. Thanks, I fell to the carpet. Yep. Going through the last It's been like a night, man. No, sorry. You're really, really optimistic about our odds here. Wife's side fouled the shoulder. Wasn't trying to reel him as much as give him a grounding. I feel. Well, this is. Man! I know you don't have anywhere else to be, really. You don't really have a job or anything, but. Hudson was winning the stare down more as he grew annoyed. Man, this sucks. Right now, the place at time, I had a lot of words about that. But I guess not knowing what you're doing is not surprising, is it, Lucy? Oh. Nothing but hardly. Fang, Fang might have said a couple of slurs, but it's just how it goes. You're not wrong, but you were the one who took my gun and pulled the trigger, Lucy. I know that. Fine, sir. Sam and I talked about it a bit last night. I had some time to work through the facts in front of me. I may be retired, but I'm still capable of working on a case. Lucy's back. No one knows why. She may be bound to you. She's bound to you, but no one knows why. Lucy, you killed people. Your brother, his girlfriend. You killed yourself, 2 innocent people. Almost killed him. Can you leave me out of this conversation? Fang had no snappy return, and the objective proof we were painfully aware of. Makes no sense or after Jesus' name that you would be back given all that. But here you are. I guess God is able to relativize your mental state. It's not something we can change. And your mother certainly doesn't want you to go. She's been telling me all night that if Raptor Jesus himself comes to take you to heaven, she'll beat the shit out of him. No excuses. Looked at Mrs. Odyssey. Wow. That's not concerning at all. Is she gonna be the final boss or something? I don't really know where I land on things with you right now. With you right now. But you are here. That's for certain. That's, okay. It's okay. Where does that put us? Yeah, good question. What's the big idea, boss? It means what I said, kid. I haven't heard of anything like this happening, at least nothing I believed. Not even in the good book is there a precedent for this as far as I remember. But I don't think anyone alive knows how to deal with this sort of thing. I buried my children. No one should have to live through that. Now suddenly one of them is back, attached to the soul of her boyfriend. Why my soul? She could just be attached to my cute little heart. Sounds like utter nonsense. Between that reality, talking with Sam, and understanding everything you told about these things, it's clear the situation that led to this all is too much for everyone.
Like, I've tinkered, but I'm never gonna finish it because it's not that great of an idea. Any idea that's just like make an antidote or a counterpoint or an extrapolation of these never works. I just always go, it's not my idea. I have an idea, but I have to put in all the work. And if I'm gonna put in all the work, I must do something I have a little more fun with. But a thing I thought about, right, is that, I mean, to be fair, this mostly has to do with Evelyn and a whole bunch of other stuff. Is that Evelyn shows up, and the whole point is that she belongs to a department that gets rid of ghosts. But it turns out that the way you get rid of an actual ghost, right? Hauntings are real, but hauntings are tied to ghosts, and ghosts are lost souls. They're just people that ain't got nowhere to be. And the solution is you fix them by sending them back in time and avoiding the tragedy that made them. Now, not every tragedy makes one, but there's always only ever one ghost. And preventing a tragedy is so easy. So, like, effectively, the reason that a lot of tragedies never happen is because, and people don't know about ghosts, is because you go back in time and they never happened. So no one has any recollection of this. Except for the agency, which of course has some ways around it. Otherwise, people like Evelyn wouldn't logically make sense. But within that context, it's like, we're gonna solve all these hauntings, and once we solved all the hauntings, I gotta go talk to Fang and get Fang to go, hey, you have to go back in time. You'll lose all of this. You'll remember only parts of it. Good luck, buddy. Or you can just fuck off. Like, that's how some tragedies also maintain, is that you don't solve the ghost problem, per se. And everything goes as we can. Then it's better that she's back than if she wasn't. I mean, wouldn't it be nicer if Nasser was here? I feel like Nasser would be a mess in this context. So what does that mean? Yeah, what does that actually... Like, Ripley, you said a lot of words, but none of this actually helps. What it means is that What Ripley means is that even though things are uncertain, we're happy to have you back, Fang. Things are different now, but despite that, we can still spend time together. Something that we both thought we'd never have again. Even if we don't know how to feel about what's happened ever since we don't want to let that go either. I guess that makes sense. So, we'll be keeping up the visits? Well, I have to cook for someone. Fang sort of big of a laugh. I could help but smile a little. I guess there's worse fates. Of course, Mr. Marin does none of it. It's my food. My food. I mean, I like how he's like, you know what, it's real enough to me, but I'm not getting out of this chair. Like Eustace. I'm not getting out of this chair. Don't you think for one gosh diddly are a minute. I'll even humor the thought. Give us room to keep working on an answer. So what's your plan now? Plan? Well, we already did for penance from Father Anthony. Stop involving him. You don't have to recall that it's Father Anthony. You've mentioned him like several times, and he's not that important. Unless he's going to show up again, fair enough, but I don't think he is. He's a weird side character. And the idea of penance is really more your idea than like anything from the Bible. So stop bringing the man up. Unless he's like the only reason you're trusting him on this. Like, it's his authority that gives credence to it. If it's possible at all. I mean, they've been flying by the seat of their pants, and I guess it makes sense that Ripley be the one to say, hey, buddy, how about you fucking sit down and, like, write something or something? I don't know, like, do something? Only thing I had to look forward was that ultimate. Yeah, let's be clear, Mr. Aaron, I've kind of been living in such a way that, like, my entire week has been this one day. A look of confusion at Sir Walter of Mrs. Aaron's face. But I didn't stop to explain it to her. She could always ask her husband later. I'm pretty sure that's all out the window now. My leg precludes me from joining the military. Oh, you're talking about Anon's plans. But I'm pretty sure that's all out the window now. My leg precludes me from joining... Listen, I love using the word preclude, but don't use it. Don't use it too much. It's a very goofy word for goofy people. I honestly don't even know if I graduated technically. College is probably off the table. I think the obvious answer is I need to find a job of some kind, or I could kill myself. I'd do that, but I'm pretty sure something bad's gonna happen to Fax. I can't even kill myself, man. It sucks. Reasonable. So, I guess basically that. Just keep going, doing whatever we can to make things better. You mentioned last night you felt like things were getting better. Yes, sir. Like I said, when we reconnected with others, it kind of made things less awful for them. Thanks said they felt better. It isn't much, but it's all we got right now. All we can really do is keep chasing that and see where it takes us. I declined to mention that accessories disappearing, or the death distance have been growing. If it gets long enough, can you just go to heaven? Just cheat your ass in there? That's the real solution to this problem. Alright. Honey, I wish we could provide more. We already spoke to Father Anthony. Why is Father Anthony suddenly like MVP? Stop bringing him up. He's not important. Like, I'm all for the idea of giving this whole thing a religious slant, but you've already pointed out that religiously speaking, like theologically speaking, this is weird. This ain't what Christ would have wanted. Also, I feel the father had to get really help with the job. There's always at a shop failing that maybe she knows the people that use physical labor. You know, with my fucked up leg. Hold on, so people I know are being dorks. Let's see. Either the other seems does if I give it a full look. Yeah. Oh, my bum leg. Well, you could sit at a register. I like doing some. Okay, and I'm just gonna point this out right. First off, I don't know if you would succeed on the merits of like this is not a great career path to be taking this late. Like you need this shit to take off fairly quickly. You don't have the time for that. You gotta go viral somehow. Secondly, for all the anime knowledge Anon has, I don't think he's interesting to watch as a reviewer. I don't think Anon has anything interesting to say about art and media. The guy is fairly boring. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like Anon would have very little to say. Like, the best he could offer is he starts saying culture war, like, buzzwords he heard, because that's, like, all he has to offer, but he can't give you any insight into any of it. He just looks at other people's reviews and copies them, you know? Which is also what Inko would have done, but, you know, their characters with fairly similar flaws in some areas. You're always welcome if you need it. I like how you and Fang are both like, I'm sure the author could agree. I don't know. I don't know I'll be in 2 months. Conversation wound down. I'm surprised Mr. Ripley's trying to help him get a job or something. Feels like something he could do. I wasn't sure how Fang felt about that yet, but I wasn't about to ask you to fight out for parents. But to me, it seemed like the best possible outcome. Not great, but frankly, I expected much worse going into this. I mean, this whole thing has worked out okay. Considering the fact that the dad is falling out, and you're all like, we don't actually know what we're doing. You know, you're alive and well, and I guess technically you have another ally, but... Has Fang examined themselves, you know, make sure they are missing another detail or something? The reason it's great having regular visits, Miss Petite Patero, is entirely because you've been locked up in your own house and your kid's dead, now your kid's alive. Like, this is a coping mechanism. It's not healthy. And I feel like you need to get a house closer to them if you really want to make this work out. Maybe you can move in with, I don't know, Reed or Trish. They probably live closer by, right? With that... Oh yeah, where have those two been? I feel like they've been out... To be fair, this whole last few chapters has been mostly this. It's had a focus. I know that you do have a good relationship with your parents right now, but given the circumstance, I think it'd be best if you called... Whoa! Ripley! Oh, buddy! Hold up. We need to get into detail here, because this is like interesting factoids. Once she was gone, Mr. Aaron likewise stood up from his seat. As we were beginning to make our way towards the front door. Hey, kid. I paused at the landing and turned to face him. Yes, sir? I know you said you didn't have a good relationship with your parents, but given the circumstances you're in right now, I think it'd be best if you called them. I felt an aggressive tingling sensation deep in my chest. If they're paying for your apartment and food. Oh, that ultimatum. Ugh. Yeah. Oh, I keep forgetting that the ultimatum is like... Yeah, in that case, it does make sense he would suddenly talk about the army. And that ultimatum is still in effect, then you're on a timer, kid. God damn it, he wasn't wrong. You don't have much of a plan, and like you said yourself, neither the military nor college is likely to... I mean, college isn't going to pay for anything either. Call them, talk to them, see if they're willing to help you out. He stared at me as I screamed. If I recall correctly, this is not going to work out, but I like that we're going here. It wasn't even for the usual reason of wilting away under his judgmental leering. Rather, the idea of having to deal with my parents after all this was making me start a cold sweat.
And if they do cut you off, then we'll help you think of something. Sam would never forgive me if we didn't.
I love how you're like that. Like, for fuck's sake, just have him move in. I love how often these stories are like, you can't move in with us, buddy. And I'm like, you just had 2 people die. Your house has space. Like, why not? You want him to visit? Here he is. If anything, it encourages Anon to move out faster and gives you a reason to help him out. You got nothing better to do, Ripley. Don't half-ass this shit. Well, then the Fang is like, what the fuck? Or something at least. One thing I really like, by the way, I like how his voice drops quieter, because he realizes... I wonder if it's him partially understanding that he has some responsibility in the situation and he should do something about it. Because for all it's worth, right, that bum leg is something Fang did to him. Like, sure, mentally not stable enough to be in the army, you know, he didn't help. Oh no! Oh, her makeup is gone. That's just weird. Literally the only pieces that still look like Fang were black halter top pants and boots. Everything else is gone. Man, I hope you don't end up nude. Oh, hold up. Let's see if the Cloudflare thing is ending yet, because oh no, it's still Audi 5000. Man, I'm tripping over. Listen, I've done some recording today. I've had some bad moments today, okay? Like, it's technically my day off, but I'm making the most of it. I've done some art. I've done some recording on the Kako Awards. Oh, I've done some other stuff to like keep maintenance, and like I said, it's a lot. My brain is like moving. Yeah, of course you wouldn't notice without. Can things see themselves in the mirror? Surely she'd notice later. Great. Ugh. Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? I feel like Vang should just go inside ahead of you just to make sure there's no creeps inside. Oh, he's ignoring Vang's question. More or less. We're gonna talk about this. You know, I mentioned that a bunch of fics are like... I like how Promise of a Lifetime does that thing where it's like everything basically gets solved by characters talking loudly to themselves. I don't know if constantly having characters talk about the exact same thing over and over is how you develop something either. I don't know if this is a good alternative. There must be a magical middle ground where we get the best of both worlds. Where characters have a lot of things to discuss. We have a variety of plots to examine. If you want, I feel like there's not much to say about it, though. Mom and Dad made their positions pretty clear. Yeah, I was a monster. No, you are a monster. Like, I don't think that just goes away until you've made proper atonements. I feel like you're still in the monster stage. Also, you're a ghost, which is, in most contexts, considered to be a monster. Especially if you play D&D. Get my spot by the door. You want to know what I really like? I like systems where it's like, you can't just kill a ghost. You can't just kill a ghost. You can't just walk up to a ghost, give him a couple of slaps left, right, left, right, left, right, and expect shit to work out. Right? I also really love that, what's it called? Shades are not, ghosts. Shades in Ironclaw are just like copies of your brain. They're like emotions you've left behind. Emotional damage left in the environment. But ghosts are like your actual spooky soul. They're like your spirit, which is unholy. And I love how it describes ghosts, right? It's like you can't fuck... But can't you punch... No, wait, you can punch a shade, right? Yeah, brawling and natural damage is weak. You can punch someone's feelings. You can't punch a ghost. Also, I'm pretty sure the game says, yeah, they can be destroyed by magic. Anything that brings dying destroys it forever. Or worse, destroys it forever. Oh. Ghosts have an annoying habit of disappearing for a day, week, or even years, skipping ahead in time. I like how you can beat up a ghost, but you can't beat up someone's psychic impressions. You're gonna have to get rid of him. I like how they work. It's like they're affected by thought more than reality. There's something about them. You can make them into cute little puzzle things. I can't unkill anyone. I can't unsuicide myself. I can't unshoot you. So there's kind of a limit to what you can hope to achieve by talking to people. Also, that Evelyn thing with like solving the Fang ghost problem. Another thing that was in that is Naomi died. Didn't die. Naomi didn't die, but she left behind shades. She left behind like psychic impressions and like bad vibes and curses. In the process of dying, but didn't fully die. So Anon gets to talk to Naomi and like, wow, really? Fucking really? Of all people to make it out alive? But yeah, Fang is kind of limited. Fang can't really do anything, truth be told. Like, you can't even rub your hands on things. Effectively, at least. Best we got is that he's fine with me being here. Yeah, he's not going to try to just shoot me with a gun. That's what a fantastic disposition you have. Draw a line draw a line in the dirt and put you on the other side. That is so nasty. I've also been sleeping kind of lately. I don't know why. I think it's about my dieting going poorly. Never really cared to ask about your own life. So far up my own butt that I never cared. Man, it's almost like that's like one of your main character problems. It's almost like your character arc got in the way of things. That's what I'm here for, right? To explain my backstory to you. Who else is going to tell you my backstory with you? I want him to just call your mom. Oh man, they're leaning against each other, just like the cover art for Promise of a Lifetime. I feel like she's not really affected by gravity or anything if she doesn't want to. Like it's like with the shade. Like what she feels should happen is more tangible than whatever the rules are. Which is also how ghosts work in that Evelyn thing. Is that ghosts and hauntings and stuff are usually just bad vibes that try to cause havoc. They are enacting on the world. They're not malicious. They just, you know, when you die horribly and painfully, you tend to leave behind bad impressions. But ghosts operate by whatever rules they think they do. With the one exception, of course, being the little blood trick they have for sending them back in time. Evelyn also remembers that, so she's like very old and stuck in a body because she keeps getting backported. She keeps getting, like, as far as the world is concerned, Evelyn just gets paid arbitrary amounts of money because she has done things. Right? And then that money gets rescinded because she goes before that money was ever paid out. It's very confusing. But it's also why she's, like, hyper-competent in that. Because her competence is not really part of the question. It's that she's hiding something, and when she finally has to come clean about it, it's like, you know, this sucks, Fang. God damn it, I dropped something again. It's always something with me, right? Well, wherever it went, I can't see it. That's kind of bad, actually. Oh, there it is. But yeah, like, Evelyn would eventually explain to Fang, like, yeah, you ghosts work how they want to. And changing that is difficult, which is also how the new verse works, is that your powers work how you think they should work. Changing them is difficult, and if you get picky enough with it, you can actually just give yourself cheat codes. But that's hard, because you basically have to tell yourself that reality is fake. Or something like that. And telling yourself reality is fake is like not the solution, because then you would just interpret reality a certain way that limits your perspective. You gotta touch them atoms with your bare hands. Anyway. I mean, it'd be nice if you two could actually lean against each other, and it means something. Sad thing, though, like, you're leaning against each other, it's like, no, it's just an act. Like, it's not real. I don't feel it. I can't lean on Fang, and they're just pretending to lean on me. They can see my appendix, if they wanted to. Gross. The ones I hurt. I think it'd be hard to pull up a news article or two. No, just no. I don't want a story about their bodies. I want to know the people I hurt or killed. Well, the news articles are a great place to get names, I imagine. I knew Nasser all my life. I started understanding you better. I feel like Anon going over to Naomi's house is a great way to get into a lot of hard conversations that don't go anywhere. Internalizing that you murdered a bunch of people is gonna fuck up anyone. There are two choices. Either you, as I've been told, that if you murder a human being, like if you straight up cap someone, there are two ways out. You sleep like a baby for the rest of your life, or you never sleep again. Either you are perfectly okay with what you've become, or you will forever resent it. You can't. There's a middle ground. It'll drive you nuts. I wouldn't know. I've never killed anyone. I'm gonna admit to. But within that context, yeah. It's a very extreme and severe thing. It's one of the ultimate actions a human being can take, is to commit murder with their own bare hands. So logically, once you've done it, you got two choices: either accept that power is now forever within you, and you took it when the chance was there. Fang is still Fang, and they kind of did it while they were fucking up. So, admittedly, how much of it really stuck to Fang, or how much of it is just the guilt of it? It's almost like I know I complain about the whole the swearing isn't really a problem, but I guess it makes sense that Fang is trying to find solutions and doing whatever might possibly work. Desperate and sad as it is, it's kind of like, hey, if you're stuck, you don't want to be stuck forever. You got to start working on those solutions. Part of repentance or something else. You're becoming somewhat other thing. That'd be weird. I can't believe you die and experience character growth. That's just goofy, man. You can't just do that. That's illegal. I didn't want Fang to go. I didn't want to leave me behind. I couldn't bear to lose her again. I mean, is she really here? The contact you have is limited. It's just talking. Might as well be a hallucination at that point. Sure, it's a more real hallucination, but I feel like there's an element of being able to hug someone. This is just like an online friend with constant video chat. Also, part of a good relationship is you can come together and come apart, and you're kind of tethered. There is so little about this that makes for a good, healthy relationship. It's also very one-sided. Anon holds pretty much all the power for allowing Fang to communicate with the world. Distant memory. Maybe we could find a yearbook from the prior year. Fang-approved barbecue sauce. You can't just have dino... Anon, listen, I feel like this story kind of skips over the fact that if we are sticking with the idea if these characters are carnivores or not, I like to go with they are omnivores. They are all omnivores, and they just like to pretend, or it's their flavor, their taste buds. To a carnivore who are, facultative, opportunists. Because, deer and some moose, they will fucking eat corpses if they have to, or want to. Some of them like it. It's more to them it tastes better. It's yeah, sure, Damien is a carnivore in a sense, but he finds meat more pleasant than anything else. But I do feel that if there is a carnivore culture, it would have, a legitimate one, it would have more focus on organ meats. Eating your Brussels sprouts is eating the liver. No one wants to eat liver. Everyone always wants to eat that brain. That's the juicy bit. Nice and squishy. Or tongue. I've heard that tongue's pretty good. But humans mostly tend to eat muscle. We don't eat as much organ meat as we used to, even though organ meat's very healthy. So for carnivores, if you are going with obligate, they have to eat. They have to eat meat. Then muscle meat is considered junk food. It would be considered junk food. And the same goes for, herbivores. What's plants? You have to think about that shit. You can't just say, oh, they're a herbivore. Okay, cool. Do they eat berries and nuts? Grasses? Leaves? Can they devour wood? Are they dendrivores? There's a massive... Can they consume fungus relatively safely? There's so many fucking questions that go beyond, I guess they eat vegan. Because we're human, so we don't have to think about those nuances too much. If it's edible, it's edible. And you just have categories to pick from. But for an actual omnivore and an actual carnivore, there are huge concerns. But I like to go with they're omnivores, and meat eaters get some meat perks, and herbivores get some they can digest plant matter. But they can't eat everything, because from a societal perspective, meat is fantastic for protein, and rapid, there are all kinds of benefits to eating meat in early agrarian and medieval societies. Especially in nomadic census, it's easy to move that stuff around compared to, plants. But plants are useful because you can industrialize crops at scale fairly easily, and grow a big variety of healthy things, and tasty things too. And combining the two, you need both, in my experience. I can't imagine having a species of only carnivores, especially. I'm okay with herbivores, because again, you can industrialize that, but carnivores, the inefficiencies would kind of blow up your planet. Feeding all humans with exclusively meat would just cause Earth to detonate itself instantaneously. Anyway, what about the nuggets? They were fine. I mean, it's really more like I was using these slabs of meat as vessels for the sauce, which is sometimes how this is like. But even for someone who's out 60% meat, I don't think that's... Yeah, because you're not a carnivore, I guess. But here's the thing, right? For a carnivore, barbecue sauce is how much meat's in a barbecue sauce? Let's look it up. Let's look at the ingredient list for barbecue sauce. So in barbecue sauce, onion powder, that's not meat. Spices such as mustard, black pepper, mayonnaise, and sugar, and molasses, those are all not meats. Primary ingredients are vinegar, that's not meat. Tomato paste, that's not meat. Or ketchup, also not meat. The problem I have with it, right, is that if you are a carnivore, most meats aren't fucking meat. Most sauces aren't meat. You know, everyone's like, oh, you put some gravy on your meat. Gravy might be made with meat juices, but often feature vegetables and thickeners such as flour. It's just like there's limits, right? There's limits. Because the consumption of flour is also a really weird one. Because it's really just we turn grass into this other substance that we can consume. And it's very odd that we have to do that. That we can do that. I just like the idea that to them meat tastes better. They get some meat-related perks. And for facts, respect, Anna will be like, man, this tastes like the most junky junk food ever. It's carnivores. Like carnivore special, leaves the bone in or something. Because I think Olivia eats a bone at some point. Marrow's pretty good for you. Be healthier. Home-cooked effort you can call them. I may appreciate an easy, sufficiently flavored meal. I feel like this is, like, again, this is what I mean with, like, their relationship isn't very healthy. Anon is eating food because Fang is telling him to. It is like, yeah, he's eating, but, it's just weird, man. I think he's right. About what again? Maybe you should start calling your parents. Cough back up the nugget. No, Anon, that's called rumination. It's when you regurgitate food to digest it again. Humans have 4 stomachs, right? Does Elizabeth have 4 stomachs? Just remember one of the endings actually specifically calls out that her full name is Elizabeth. I can't argue. If it's in the canon, what can I do? Once a sputtering response had subsided enough that I could properly breathe again, I stared at the chair next to me hard as why my mouth clean. What? You can't just... I'm not calling my goddamn parents. They're just gonna tell me to get a job. And you're trying to get a job. I know I'm trying to get a job, but I don't want my parents telling me to get a job. It's different. Listen, I've been thinking about what Dad said. I think he's right. Like, we don't have a good long-term plan, and I don't know the situation with your parents or your... the ultimatum they gave you. You practically spat the world out. At least you aligned with that. I feel like both of you can fuck off on that. I feel like Fang would not necessarily... Fang would be like, yeah, I kind of get what they're going for, though, Anon. You kind of suck. Although, given the context, the ultimatum really shouldn't stand. But the fact is, they are paying for this place and your food, right? Fang. So we need to talk to them and sort things out or get a job. Fang! How long until they cut you off, Anon? I flipped backwards. Hiya! Sick flip. Wasn't like the other times where a sudden outburst or screaming was enough to hold up. Let's turn on some edgy music. Sure, I'll live with this. I'll go with edge. No, this time it was her asking a very pointed question aimed right at the heart of the issue I've been desperately trying to ignore. And you've been ignoring it for a while, considering how it's just picking up a phone, really. Like, there is nothing that stopped him from doing this before Fang showed up and everything. Fang noticed my lurch and pulled her head away, seemingly ashamed that she snapped at me again. Slouching backwards. I feel like slouching is forwards. You always slouch forwards because it's your back going bent. Why would you slouch backwards? Actually, it's time to bring up the dictionary. Am I right or am I wrong? Is Sapphire good? To stand or sit lazily in a drooping way. And I think we can both agree that drooping is hard to do backwards. I think you can. I imagine it's possible, but it's not the standard option. Waggles my finger. As if I've won, when in truth I have not. Heard Fang take a quick breath. How long? They paid for a year lease, starting as of January, so the time's up next year. So, only a few months after. She looks frustrated. She could join the club. So what's the plan yet? You never brought this up before. We were just going to We were just going to coast until you were cut off, and then you end up in the streets. Until very recently, I was just putting one foot in front of the other, Fang. For a while, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna make it long enough for any of this to matter. I thought I was gonna die, Fang. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, getting shot and almost killed and planning to kill yourself would probably put the idea of next year into an odd perspective. As someone who's been there, yeah, it do. This is also why some people, when they get into certain suicidal states, that's why they perk up towards the end. It's partially because they're like, oh, I've got a solution, and finally things are going to get better because I have something going for them. It can sometimes also involve being very irresponsible with things. Kind of like a mania, because it's like, who cares? Christmas is just a week away, and it won't be a problem once Christmas comes around. And you're not sure why. I mean, long since then, really. We've gone through a lot of positive change in the last couple of weeks. But truth be told, this is still fucking bleak. Sorry, it's okay. Oh, I like how we're being ambiguous on it. The mumbling was there. So we're probably switching to Fang's POV for the last bit, because that's how you work, don't you? You're like, let's pick the POV that's the least fucking interesting. And keep the tension going. I'm being snarky, of course, but we both know what I really mean. I mean, there wasn't all that much tension. Fang pretty much said, yeah, I just cried. Anyway, I think I'm going to cut it here, because we only got like this much left, which is like a third left, and then we got a little bit for the post comments and stuff. So hey, see you in a bit.